And we're back, guys. Nice little weekend there. Nice little Sunday, 2-0 Sunday, and one of those, obviously, the big game, the Super Bowl. Chiefs pull it out, had that bet out there for 2 weeks. John, how you doing? Nice little Super Bowl win. That's always, obviously, the big game of the year. Nice to get a win in that game.
Yeah, always is. But I'll take the Pistons plus 11.5 too. For Toronto right down to the wire. Always love winning the Super Bowl. Look, it's just another bet, but I know the guys out there. Super Bowl, they're always going to go a little bigger on the Super Bowl because it's the Super Bowl. So glad to get that for our members. Like Ben said, we gave that out 2 weeks ago. We gave that out on the Tuesday after the conference championship. So if you guys get in there early, that's, I was just watching some guys today, and they call themselves cappers, and they're out there talking about how Vegas wasn't going to let the Eagles win. And I can't put my head around any guys out there that is supposed to be sharp, still with this Vegas conspiracy theory. Vegas doesn't call the shot, guys. This whole thing is getting blown up with the NFL, with the script. Are you that gullible? Are you real? You can't be that gullible. Not if you're watching my show, guys. Come on. Can there be a rogue referee here or there? But some grand scale conspiracy theory with Vegas behind. Who is Vegas, by the way? Is it all the hotels conspiring together, or is it just the MGM? So come on, man. But again, watching some guys just sound like suckers, like real squares. Like I said, there's so many guys out there that they call themselves cappers. Just this one guy, not too long ago, I thought he had something on the ball. Then he started talking nonsense, but I went and checked his page out. He's a big prop guy. Everything's over. He's as square as a square could be. Every bet is over. Whatever, it's a total, it's a team total, it's a play. He's a square. When you just bet over, look, I made a lot of money back in the day as a book, just knowing where the squares were going. Literally the favorite and the over. So you guys just keep going ahead. I'm sure you can tell your clients whatever you want to tell them. But if you guys want the real knowledge, this is the only place to be. This is the place to be from 6:30 in the morning Eastern time when we're out there beating the number till halftime of West Coast games. When we see a spot, we're jumping on it. And we just did both of those things this past week. Caught the Bucks in a late situation, late halftime game. Lakers somehow held the lead on them. We saw a great spot with the Bucks. We took the money down in that one. Then a couple of games early in this week, the day after the trade deadline. We had Magic. We took 6.5 on a game. That game closed 4.5 that day. We laid 6.5 with the Hawks. I made the videos on my Instagram page. So if you guys are seeing this, go to the Instagram page. 7:30, I believe it was 7:36, if I get the time exactly right, Eastern time. I'm already telling you, here's the lines now. They're going to change. And like I said, Orlando, instead of we took 6.5, that line closed 4.5. Hawks, we laid 6.5. That line closed 8. That's beating the number. That's when you're a handicapper. When you're guessing who Vegas needs, okay, and going with Vegas, that you're not a handicapper. I don't even know what you guys are. But anyway, Ben, great Super Bowl. How'd you do on your prop picks?
Props are okay. I split 2-2 on the main props I like. But what you were mentioning as far as the guy who only bets over on props, I mean, already just as far as normal totals, right? The over is typically the square side, typically maybe a little bit of an overlay to that. But with player props especially, I mean, just foul trouble, guys getting hurt, ejections. I mean, there's just so many exterior factors that increase the value to an under.
They're only going to make it a little higher. Look, they're always going to add on to the Dodgers in baseball. Do you understand? You're always going to pay an exorbitant price for the Dodgers in baseball. You're going to get more value if you're betting the Pirates and the teams like that. Texas Rangers, same in basketball. If you want to jump on the Celtics and the Bucks and during this 10-game winning streak and the Cleveland Cavs, you're going to pay for it. You're going to pay an extra half point Right now, I believe the Mavs. If again, guys, this is Monday night. We're shooting this for Tuesday, so I was on the Sacramento Kings Saturday night against the Mavs. First game that Kyrie and Doncic playing together. Yeah, the line makers know what you want to bet. They know you want to bet Doncic and Kyrie, and they're the new toast of the town. So you're going to pay for it. I saw the value in the Kings. Saw it again today. We took 7.5 on that game. That game is I'm talking about that game is the Timberwolves Mav game again. They're going to make you pay to get on the Kyrie Doncic bandwagon. I took 7.5 this morning. That game presently 6 or 6.5, depending on your book. So if you're just going to play Giannis's what is it? Points, rebounds. Yeah, of course you're going to pay for it. What do they think you're going under? You know what I mean? So then it's usually 30 cents for a prop. So the juice alone, I don't know how you're going to overcome 30-cent juice, unless maybe the guys at Pickville could do it, because they seem to be overcoming parlays. I got it written down, Ben. I've got to do this.
I think I saw. Was it the 3-teamer they posted this weekend? Because I saw a 3-teamer that came out to minus 170.
It's an embarrassment, and it's not for them, but anybody that is actually paying them for this service, and I'll call them out on this. I don't like to do this to throw guys under the bus, but this guy's got the balls, the audacity to say his Supermax bet was Wagner. This is on the money line. They don't have the balls to say points. They had Wagner minus 1,300, Toledo minus 700, and Cincy minus a cheap 450. This was their Supermax bet. This is a joke. This is a disgrace. This is an embarrassment. Okay, you're not a handicapper. You're artificial intelligence. You're not intelligent. I get a little hot, like I say. I'm a handicapper. I can give you a line on every single game there is. Okay, in my sports, NBA, NFL, and Major League Baseball. To just go bet the biggest favorites, 1,300 on the money line favorites. You have no intelligence, not artificial. It's a zero. No, I don't. I don't even know why I'm going there. I just had to go there. Like I said,
I was warranted.
There's fakes out there, and they're by the thousands. Gambling is becoming a huge business. So there's a lot of pie to be divided up. So you can go with somebody that's using his computers to give you the biggest favorites on the board every day, or a guy that's been in this business for over 40 years, beating the numbers for 40 fucking years, and showing it every single day. Up until the last couple of days, we're giving away a free play every day on our Instagram and TikTok. And I don't know, what am I asking for? Help me out with these algorithms. Give me a like. Drop me a comment. I can't even get you guys to do that. So there was another 2-0 day yesterday. I'm going to absolutely punish the books in the second half after the All-Star break, just the way I did it last year. So get on board, guys. There's no better time, especially right now. We're going to run a 3-day free trial right up until the All-Star break, Ben.
Yeah, you guys can use that promo code Lambo for that on howtobeatthebookie.com. Sign up there if you guys want to check that out. Let's bring it back, talk about the Super Bowl a little bit. So from your first
Great game. Great game.
You mentioned the capper, whoever it was, who was stating about Vegas needing the Chiefs, whatever it might have been. That is the game of the year where Vegas really doesn't matter who comes out. I mean, there's 2,000 different prop bets.
Juice. It's all everywhere. About the juice.
Everywhere. You have people betting on what color Gatorade, what song Rihanna's going to sing, all this kind of bullshit left and right. Like the last thing they're worried about is having maybe a little bit of a 55-60% liability one side on the game. It's just so ridiculous there. But like you said, terrific game. Got to give credit to Jalen Hurts. I mean, what he did, I was impressed with his performance. And Patrick Mahomes, man, I mean, the end of that second quarter, he goes down with the ankle, get a little bit concerned maybe, and just
I was a little bit more than a little bit concerned.
But nothing phases him. I mean, I don't know what they shot him up with at halftime, whatever it was. I mean, he came out second half. 5 drives, 5 scores, 4 touchdowns. The one that didn't get the touchdown was just a kneel down at the end. What are your thoughts on that, by the way? We haven't talked about that very much. The call at the end of the game. Now, obviously, we want Kansas City to win the game. So, for for the bet itself, it went in our favor. But
the guy admitted it already. Already said he held them.
Yeah.
I don't even think this is an issue. Look, in the first half, I really believe the Eagles got all the calls. I thought Eagles got all the calls the entire game. The only call they didn't get was a holding call, but the guy actually admitted he held them. I don't think there's a debate. I don't think there's nothing to talk about. I just think look, I've said it before. We've talked about Tim Donaghy, the referee that was actually fixing games.
Yes.
And then there's a lot of bad refs and umpires. Angel Hernandez comes to mind in baseball. He's absolutely horrible. I don't know how he's got a job. I just really don't. But you take some of these guys, and especially if they're there too long, getting on in their ears. Look, this game is too quick. It's just pitchers are throwing 100 miles an hour. Football players are running and moving so quick. Basketball, same thing, that block charge. I mean, look, some of them are just bad. It doesn't mean that they're fixing the games. They're just bad. They're bad at their job. The game has got too fast, too quick for them. I mean, even when they're looking at these instant replays for an hour and still get them wrong, in my opinion. So horrible officiating. They've got to clean it up, because that's what puts in your average Joe, the public's head, that there's this whole conspiracy and Vegas call down to the refs and make it call this way. So it's ridiculous. I hope our guys are not that naive. That doesn't go on. If two people know a secret, it ain't a secret. Do you understand? There's only way you can keep a secret is you kill that other guy. Then it's a secret, and then just only one guy knows the secret, and that's the end of that story. But great game. Philadelphia manhandled them. Their offensive line, they just did a phenomenal job. Great offensive line, did whatever they want, and like I said, literally at halftime, to see Mahomes on the sideline in agony, in pain, down 10, you're like, oh, well, we got basketball tomorrow. But actually text back and forth my cousin. He's like, looks like it's over. They've been dominated. I'm like, well, Casey gets the ball the first drive. If they score, it's still a game. Let's see. Sure enough, Mahomes comes out. They get the job done. Look, I thought Eagles might have been the better team. They were definitely the more physical team. The offensive line, they dominated the offensive line. KC did what they did. They just made plays. So you got a defensive touchdown. Could have had 2 defensive touchdowns. You had that big punt return. Mahomes, again, just as he did at the end of the conference championship game, on the bum ankle, takes off running. He gets the personal foul in the conference championship. They kick a field goal. In this one, he gets a little further down the field, puts them into position. Everything gets done. He's a winner. The kid is that good. You just throw him up and you can throw him up in the conversation as greats of all time already. 6 years in, what has he done? Going to 5 conference championships, 3 Super Bowls, winning 2 of them. Great job. So great game. What could you say? Like I said, thought we were in trouble. Matter of fact, some of our guys were in the chat saying, what do we do at halftime? I'm like, how can I give you an answer not knowing the condition of Mahomes' ankle? If I know Mahomes' ankle's okay, you can put my money. I'll ride with this kid anytime.
Yeah, absolutely. What is it now? Him and Brady, the only 2 guys to come back from double-digit deficits in the second half. And also Mahomes, just in his career, regular season included, he has an above 600 win percentage when trailing by 10 or more points, which is just
insane.
Crazy to think about. Yeah, that's ridiculous. So he's definitely never out of it. I don't think KC's offensive line got enough credit for what they did yesterday, not only in the passing game, obviously.
Against that great Eagles defense, that sack machine, absolutely. Yeah, they did their job too.
Not even just in that, as well as getting the run game going with Pacheco. I mean, Pacheco was just a nice little bolt that offense had. The run game stepped up. I mean, obviously all the talk in the offseason, you lose Tyreek Hill. What's the offense going to be like? Patrick Mahomes sets, career best in passing yards this season. Part of that O-line, but also part of getting that O-line is getting a bit better of a run game going as well. And they had that moving last night.
Absolutely did. And, of course, Kelsey just how he keeps getting open, he just keeps does. couple of those plays, I mean, they just with their motion and everything they got going, walk-in touchdown passes, one to one side, one to the other side. Just great drawing it up. We always talked about it for years. Andy Reid has been known as a master coming off a bye, coming off that second week to prepare, and he did it again yesterday. And Chiefs get another championship.
Nope, yes, they did. It was a hell of a Super Bowl, and that's going to put a wrap on the NFL season. We're, what is it, about maybe a month and a half away from MLB, right around the corner. Obviously, we'll get into that down the line. You guys will see some of these breakdowns here on this podcast, obviously, once we get there for MLB season. But until then, John, we do have a good amount of NBA going on. We can touch in on tonight. 4 bets out tonight. I know you already mentioned Minnesota, which is now down to 6.5. Sent that out to members at 7.5. But we can touch in on the other 3 plays if you'd like.
Sure. We bet this. Timberwolves we bet early today. Like I said, Linemaker's going to make you pay. They know everybody wants to get on this Kyrie Irving, Luka Doncic team. I just thought it was a little too high. I took plus 7.5 this morning. The line went even higher. It went to 8. It was phonies. They were pushing the line up. They came back, took all the 8s. Game is now down to 6. Like I said, 6 or 6.5, depending on your book. As of 6:29 tonight, right now, I'm looking at DraftKings has actually got it down to 6. Other games that I bet today, we sent out yesterday Oklahoma City at a pick. That game was up on DraftKings at Pick'em, and we just let all our members know if you got access to DraftKings, go get that game yesterday. That game is now sitting at 2.5. Besides a little info that McCollum was going to be questionable, this is just a double revenge game for the Thunder. Thunder lighting it up. Their last 4 games, 3-1. I believe it's $1.34 a game. Good spot for them. Like I said, double revenge. Pelicans coming off a terrible game against the Cavs at home, and they just don't get the job done on the road. They've been horrible. They also get some more bad news. Looks like Zion's going to be out even more. They were saying they'll recheck him after the All-Star break. Again, these guys get that when they're not healthy and the injuries just keep lingering, it's going to just have an effect, and it's going to have an effect on the whole team. So we bet Thunder at a pick. That game's at 2.5. Where else did we go? We went on the Denver Nuggets today, playing the Heat. They absolutely own the Heat. They've beat them 8 of the last 9. Give me one sec, guys. 8 of the last 9. They've won the last 3 in Miami by a combined 40 points. We put this info up on the website. Again, if you guys are new to the show, on the website, our app, How to Beat the Bookie. We write a preview on every game, not just games I bet. In this particular game, by the time we posted our previews before 11 a.m., I said Tyler Hero played 47 minutes in the last game against the Magic. The overtime killer that cost us in overtime, but in that overtime game, and I knew he was going to be questionable today, and it turns out he's not playing. So we had the injury jump on that game. Took Denver, like I said, you got Hero out. They're already shorthanded in the backcourt. Lowry out, Oladipo out. So they'll be a little shorthanded in the backcourt. Denver owns them. We took 1.5 with that game. That game had gone to Denver the favorite, but we're not going to have Murray, who's been out for 4 games. So I already thought he'd be out. Didn't have a problem with that. But Aaron Gordon also going to be out tonight. He'll miss his second game. So not as much of an edge. I still like it. All Denver's got to do is go there and win the game. Miami, just been the absolute worst team at home against the spread. Denver, while they have the best home record, still not getting the job done on the road, just 13-14. But I like them here. They own the Heat. And
even Denver, I was going to say, even Denver shorthanded. I mean, it just kind of seems as long as Jokic is out there, I mean, they lead the NBA in three-point shooting. If they're hitting their three-point shots, Jokic is going to find them. He's going to facilitate. So they're going to develop offense. Even without Murray and Gordon, they're going to get things going. So it's really just going to come down to there. And like you said, they own that matchup. You brought up the Magic bad beat from Saturday in overtime. We haven't touched on it yet with Brooklyn either. Brooklyn.
Do we even want to touch on it? Those
I just want to
hurt.
Yeah, Saturday, for you guys who don't know, Magic blew a big lead in the fourth, double-digit lead, lose it in overtime. Nets 14-2 run, they give up to close. Couple of tough losses, right side, wrong result. Brooklyn, though, that was their first game getting those guys over for Phoenix, Johnson, Bridges. I was very impressed with them defensively. They look very solid. I'm excited to see how they look again tonight against the Knicks. Kind of another team similar to them where it's not, yes, Brunson, Barrett, Randall. You have some quote-unquote stars, but not superstars, and it's just kind of team basketball. So it's going to be interesting how they match up again tonight. I was impressed with that defense, but, man, that was just brutal games on Saturday. Tough to lose those.
I absolutely expected what I was going to get out of Mikal Bridges and Cam Johnson. And what we didn't get what we thought we were going to get out of Dinwiddie. Dinwiddie, after playing a great first game with the Nets, him and Dorian Finney-Smith, I think they were both like plus minus 30.
So we got it from Dinwiddie just about half a second too late.
I think that was one of the only big shots he made. What was he, 10 for 12? He had a terrible night shooting. But like I said, Dinwiddie and Dorian Finney-Smith were played great in the first game. Adding Cam Johnson and Mikal Bridges. This is a deep team, especially on the wings. They got off to a great start. Literally led that game pretty much. I don't know. I think we led that game for 46 of the 48 minutes. Just a tough game to blow. We get outscored 14-2 down the stretch. Can't come up with only 2 points. No excuses. It's just what happened. That was a love bet for me. So that took a big chunk out of us. And then literally within the next hour, we blow another lead. Orlando Magic, a similar situation against the Heat at home. Look, that night we had 2 home dogs against teams that were coming in on back-to-backs. When you're coming in on back-to-back, especially when you're the home team, you're supposed to own those final few minutes. That's when it's supposed to get into their legs. You're supposed to have the edge. The script reversed on us, and we blew both games. But what do? We don't cry. We hang in there. We get the info that Sabonis is going to play for the Kings. And as soon as I got that info, we send it out. We get Kings plus 2.5. Kings are playing the new darlings, the Mavs with Irving and Doncic. And in a tough game, went to overtime, but we get the W in that one. Come right back yesterday, win our Super Bowl bet, win the Piston bet. We end off another winning week, and we're back at it today, Ben.
Yeah, 3-0 since those pair of bad beats, and a good amount of bets out today. That's one question for any of you guys who are watching who aren't members. Question you people always ask in the DMs or whatever is how many bets do I get a day? And there's just no answer to that. Today, 5 bets out right now. Some days will be 1, some days 0, depending on if there's an edge out there. So any of those of you guys watching, speculating becoming a member, it really does vary. I will say, though, month by month, it goes roughly into that 90 to 110 range on bets, give or take, sometimes less, sometimes more.
Yeah, it'll be a little less this month. February is a shorter month, and we're going to be held up with the All-Star break, guys. So we'll also take our little break. We won't be doing the podcast this Friday or the next one Tuesday. We'll be back the following Friday, but we'll be taking a break. This is the only time I take a break twice a year. I take a break this All-Star break, Major League Baseball All-Star break. I don't mess around with colleges. I don't know nothing about hockey. I don't know anything about UFC. I specialize in what I specialize in. Don't try to be jack of all trades, just the master of the 3 that I do. So we'll be taking our break. Like I said, we came back last year from the All-Star break and literally on fire. Going to have Ben put together a little video showing just what we did when we came back from the All-Star break. Now that we'll get a real good read. All the trades are settled in. We'll see how the new pieces are fitting. We'll get to see who's really tanking. There's one team that I'm looking at right now. So we get to another bet that I made tonight. Didn't talk about Utah Jazz, Indiana Pacers. This game, the line opened up 2.5 on the overnight last night. Had gone to Utah 1. The questionability of Halliburton and Miles Turner. Halliburton in, Turner out. That was enough for me. I know Indiana has been absolutely horrible. Still play good at home. Utah not great on the road. Utah, they got rid of a couple of pieces. They were sellers at the break, getting rid of Conley. So I just think there was enough there to take the shot with the Indiana Pacers at home tonight to try to break this streak. We'll find out tonight if either one of these teams are in the tank for the rest of the year. We'll get to see that. We'll see that more and more with other teams. So second half should be really good. I wanted to be selective these last few days. This is the toughest time. This time right between the trade deadline and the All-Star break. You got guys, they're with the team, they're not with the team, their head's a mess. It's a lot of stuff going on. The teams are getting ready, like you said. What teams are tanking? What teams are going full steam ahead? We'll get this all figured out. We'll get on a nice little run in the second half.
Yeah, we can touch in a little bit on tomorrow's slate for Tuesday. We already told you guys will know how our Monday went based on when you're watching this tomorrow on those plays. And then we'll talk a little bit about second half, maybe some plays, some futures as far as win totals, maybe some make the playoff bets. And you guys looking at that. But, John, pretty small Tuesday card we have coming up here. 3 days till the All-Star break. Big game tomorrow, though, to start off the card. Celtics at Milwaukee. We have playoff revenge, obviously. You have the Celtics who took the Bucks to 7. Middleton goes down last year in that series. So you have Boston who took advantage of that. And then when you have the original revenge spot earlier this season, Christmas Day, Boston just absolutely embarrassed Milwaukee on Christmas Day. So double revenge spot. And you have this Boston team coming in banged up. Tatum doubtful, Brown already out, Smart already out, and Brogdon with a question mark next to his name. So banged up Boston team and a hungry Milwaukee team. The way this game lines up to me is Bucks or nobody, but interested to see your thoughts.
Just what you said, this is Bucks or nobody. Ben, I've had this one circled literally since Christmas Day, since the Christmas Day beatdown. Milwaukee red hot, 10 straight wins. Celtics were coming in winning also. So I thought we were going to get a nice line cheap enough to – this would have been a love bet for me. I'll tell you right now. The line had come up at 4. This would have been a love bet for me with Milwaukee. Just before we came on to make the podcast, the word came out that Tatum illness is now doubtful. That line hasn't come back on the board yet. I'm sure it's going to come back at least 7. This could be a double-digit blowout. Like Ben said, already Brown and Smart already out. If Tatum's out, you got Brogdon questionable. I mean, where are they? They're going Pritchard, Hauser in the backcourt. Here's a game, like I said, not only playoff revenge. They got embarrassed on Christmas Day. I'm sure just as I've had a circle around this game, Milwaukee's had a circle on this game. All depends what the line comes up at 4. This would have been a love bet for Milwaukee for me.
Yeah, can we touch on that a little bit? So with Tatum being out, obviously this number, or most likely out, this number is going to go up a little bit more. So at what point, as far as taking it to a love bet, because like you mentioned, you wanted that lower number with Boston playing well, having their guys, so you can get that at that. How much do you value Tatum to that number with those other guys already out?
I would say this line should come up 7. If it was to come up any less than 7, I'd still make it a love bet.
Got it. Okay. So that's just was interested to see your value there. Next game, John, Magic Raptors.
As I feel Tatum's worth even more to that, especially in this situation that your other big scorer, Brown, is out. Smart, your defensive player of the year, is out. And your other backup point guard, Brogdon, your guy that comes off the bench, your 6-man, is questionable. But that's why I'm saying even at 6.5, I'll take it. I would still make this a love bet. I'm expecting 7 or higher when this game comes back on the board.
We'll keep an eye out for that, guys, when that line opens up. Next one, John, is Magic and Toronto. Now you have Orlando who will be playing tonight, so we'll wait to see how that game fares. Obviously, that plays in a little bit to this. But just already with the spot, I mean, they had their previous game overtime loss against Miami. Now they come in here, and they're going to be on a back-to-back on the road at Toronto, traveling. They've won 2 of 3 meetings this year, but Raptors did win the 1 meeting in Toronto by 13 points. This seems like kind of a little bit of an opportunity here for Raptors to even up the season series at 2 apiece. They're 4-1 their last 5. Gary Trent and Nacho are both questionable right now, so have to see what's going on with them. but I just got to imagine. I mean, we'll see how this Orlando game pays out tonight. Either way, overtime game and now into another travel into a back-to-back. Spots already lining up for Toronto. We'll see how good it gets with Orlando's game tonight.
It sure does. As you said, they're back-to-back 3rd and 4 with that last one being the overtime loss where they fell apart in the fourth quarter to Miami. 6.5 is a ballpark number. Again, it all depends on what kind of game does the Magic play today. Do they go into Chicago and come out with a win? Do they get blown out? Is it a cruise game? All that stuff takes into account. Does anybody get hurt? Does somebody sit on a back-to-back? Wendell Carter Jr., the center, has been dealing with plantar fasciitis all year. Do they maybe sit him in the second half, back-to-back, 3rd and 4, overtime? All those are the questions. We'll wait to see once we watch the game. 6.5 ballpark number is about the right number for this spot, though.
At the next game, no back-to-backs on this one. We have Sacramento going out to Phoenix. Kings Suns. We have Kings coming off a 2-game split with the Mavs. Lose the first game, win the second game in overtime. That was a bet we had, like you mentioned already earlier. They're 3-1, 2-2 against the spread their last 4 games. And you have the Suns, who are returning from a 4-1 5-game trip. They get a nice little win at Indiana. They've been playing pretty good basketball. They're 10-3, 9-4 against the spread their last 13. One of those 3 losses was a game that Booker sat out. So this is a team, obviously Phoenix, kind of going to be a little bit revamped here. You're losing some of those other pieces in Bridges and Cam Johnson. We saw that in Indiana. I mean, they still have that core 3. This is without Kevin Durant at this point, but the core 3 of Booker, CP3, and DeAndre Ayton, still a competitive basketball team. And then you have, the new pieces. Who's going to be playing? Warren, who's expected to make a debut. Basley going to make a debut. And Terrence Ross, who they just pulled off the waivers. He's questionable to get his first start there with the Suns. So right now you have the Suns, who beat the Kings over this year. They split 4 meetings last year, though, each team winning on the road. So matchup history favors a bit more to Sacramento. I just have a little bit of a lean here to the Phoenix Suns. They've been rolling here for the better half, 2-3 weeks now.
Well, Ben, it'll be me against you because I like Sacramento in this one. Phoenix coming back off that road trip, but they've had 3 days off. So that shouldn't be a factor. Sacramento, like you said, they're coming off that 2-game set with Dallas. They've had 2 days off. So both teams will come in rested. Just Sacramento, to me, this is a good spot for Sacramento. As you said, they won both games in Phoenix last year. Phoenix won both games at Sacramento last year and beat them in their house this year. They'll come with a little home revenge. I like Phoenix. They still got to get Kevin Durant. Not going to get him till back after the All-Star break. Excuse me. They will get T.J. Warren and Basley back. Not back, but they'll rejoin the team. They're expected to be available tomorrow. Whether they'll break into the rotation or not, we'll see. But just a good spot for Sacramento. This line right now sitting at 3. I'll wait to see if there's any play. If I see any movement to the downside, I'll be jumping on this game +3. I think there could be some Suns money. Ben, very sharp as they come, except for me. But just the way Ben likes the Suns because they've been pretty hot coming on the back home off that road trip, and they're a much better road team than home this year. And that wasn't the case last year. They were the best road team in the NBA, 32-9 last year. But yeah, I'm hoping that game ticks up a little bit. If it was to tick up a little bit more, I could even go out on a limb and make this a love bet.
So we'll see where that number does go up to there, guys. Like John said, any 2 games you can read it 2 different ways. My leaning there is a little bit more to Phoenix. We'll see how they come out. I still think with Phoenix, without Kevin Durant in the lineup, I mean, really for the last month, Phoenix has not been a full roster of guys. I mean, whether it's been Booker, Cam Johnson, Bridges, Chris Paul, someone's been out, someone's been missing, someone's been having issues. So I still think this entire last stretch where they've been hot, we're getting them a little bit of a discount price. We'll see if that continues. Next game, John, Warriors-Clippers. Warriors play the Wizards tonight, another back-to-back situation. And you have this Clippers team. The Clippers, to me, at this point, lost the deadline. Yes, they made some good additions, but I just no point guard. I do not get how you are going to win with this team without a point guard. Maybe they get Russell Westbrook. Yeah, maybe they pull it off. It's the only way I see this team coming back. Paul George had his best year of his career, 3rd in the MVP voting, playing next to Russell Westbrook. So there's some chemistry there. gives them what they need. But until they get a point guard off waivers somewhere, I don't know who or how, I do not want any part of this Clippers team.
They're bringing in Bones Highland. They've been starting man alongside of Paul George. Look, their strength is the wings. Their strength is Kawhi and PG. They're also bringing in Plumlee. That's going to give them some depth. They're going to give them two solid centers, Zubik and Plumlee. Powell coming off the bench. Again, real deep team. If they get Westbrook, I mean, that really could be the answer to it. If, again, he's going to accept his role with the team, knowing that the two big dogs are Kawhi and PG. Golden State playing tonight. I'm going with they're probably sitting their guys tomorrow if this is any kind of tough game. This has been what they're doing. They sit their guys when they're on the road in a back-to-back. Curry is already out. This will be not only a back-to-back, but 3rd and 4. They lost the other night to the Lakers at home, so we'll see what happens in this game tonight if it's a tough one. But if you see, look, you already know Clay's going to miss. Clay doesn't play back-to-backs, okay? So Clay's going to be, you're already down your backcourt, Steph and Clay. So do they sit Dre? Does he get the night off? Or does Kerr just say, hey, everybody gets a day off if they come away with a W tonight? So that's what we'll be looking for. Clippers, they had 2 days off and rested Kawhi, and then had 3 days off before this game. Don't know why they rested Kawhi in that spot, but put the antennas up. Do you know what? Look, this guy, he's been playing great basketball, returning to form, that Kawhi MVP form. But hey, why did he not play in that game against the Bucks? They were off. It wasn't no back-to-back, and they were going to be off for 3 days. They're going to tomorrow being off for 3 days. So we'll be on the lookout for Kawhi. As again, injuries take part of it, guys. Got to look out for those injuries. Again, we know Clay's out. We know Steph's out. This is what we know. Everything else we're on the lookout for.
Yeah, it could be talking about maybe who Golden State is tomorrow night. Could be one of those underplays in this matchup. Warriors-Clippers as well. Clippers 22-5 to the under in their 27 home games this year. Just straight under basketball on their home court. So we'll see if that continues depending on who Golden State brings. And then the last game, just you can't really give you guys too much on this one. Wizards-Blazers, both playing tonight. Matchup history favors Portland. That's one thing we can give you guys. 7 of the last 8 meetings. Blazers have won that. Beat them earlier this year. Maybe if Washington gets a win at Golden State, which they matchup history favors them, could have a little bit of a letdown for the Wizards. So maybe we see that spot open up, but without knowing these 2 games tonight, tough to give you any more of a read on that.
Yeah. So what I will say about that series, Portland owns the series. Or already beat them in Washington earlier in the year. You got a couple of injuries on both sides. Grant dealing with a concussion. He's going to miss tonight for Portland. He'll be already questionable for tomorrow. Kuzma's missed the last few games for Wash. He'll be questionable also. Again, too many question marks in the game to give you an expert opinion right now. To the one thing, again, Portland does own the series. They'll be home for their back-to-back. Washington's traveling. So the edge all so far goes to Portland. We fill in the other pieces when we know more about the injuries and how they play tonight. Does either team go to overtime? Was it a tough game? Is it an upset? Washington, do they go there and beat Golden State? Did they come in with a letdown? So all that stuff remains to be seen.
Yeah, we talk about the other half of that game with Portland tonight, the Lakers. I mean, LeBron James, you mentioned the antennas up there with Kawhi Leonard, just as far as what they're doing with him. LeBron now, where's his 3rd straight game? He's sitting since getting the all-time record. Don't know if there's actually too much there for LeBron. I don't know if this is just kind of, there was that stretch there. Anthony Davis was out. He had to take a large load. He was averaging, 34 points a game during that stretch there, Anthony Davis. Obviously, a lot of extra pressure there, getting the record, maybe pushing a little bit more than he needed to at this point in the season. So I don't know if this is as much of an actual serious foot injury with him or just extreme caution, give him his breather down into the All-Star break, and then let's get a real rundown into the second half of the season. So I'm interested to hear your thoughts on that, John, if you think they're playing just a bit more precautious.
I think that's just what it is, giving him a little bit of a rest. They got a W without him the other night. I think they can go into Portland and steal their one there also. I love what the Lakers did at the trade deadline. We talked about it already. They got rid of a couple of guys that can't shoot the ball, Beverly and Westbrook, and got a couple of guys that can fill it up, Russell and Beasley. Vanderbilt had a monster game for them coming off the bench. They're deep now. They're solid. Maybe the best thing is, in the long run, is for LeBron to be out. Let these other guys get their feet wet before LeBron comes in dominating the ball again. Let Russell let these guys be able to throw up some shots and get conformed to the team. More of an issue is how they're all going to do once they all get on the court. But let's face that down the road. Who knows what LeBron, third game in a row. Like I said, he was sucking it up a lot. He's been questionable. We joke about it a lot. He's questionable every day, as many of the players are. I mean, as we're sitting here, if you see me going like this, I'm getting messages on my phone and Embiid's in. Really? No joke. Every day, Joel Embiid is listed questionable. The one day we thought, and I'm going to explain a little bit about the Magic and Nets bets also Saturday night. They left out. So both those teams, Magic and Nets, were playing teams coming off back-to-backs. 76ers were coming off a back-to-back. Tough game. Embiid played, I believe, 37 minutes, a team-high 37 minutes the night before against the Knicks. They've been listing him questionable for weeks, literally for weeks. Every single day. He's played every single game. I just thought that might be the day that they finally gave him the break and let him sit off. Again, when we have a hunch, I'm right more than I'm wrong. So we got to take it, because if Embiid is out, that line's going to move 3 points in a blink. Same thing, similar situation with the Heat. Jimmy Butler has not, until the night against the Magic, had not played in a back-to-back since late October. We're assuming after playing a big minutes that night, and actually having the night before having the game winner with 0.3 of a second, an inbounds pass, thought he might be getting the night off also. Again, we've got to make decisions early in the morning if we want to run ahead of the line 3 points. Why the Philly was a love bet is because I like the Nets even with them beat in. So if we catch the break and Love and Embiid is out, or maybe Harden is out, it becomes a love bet. Well, like I said, with these guys on back-to-back. Same situation with the Magic. Like the Heat, like the Magic in that game. If the Heat were going to sit Butler or anybody like they're sitting Hero tonight, would have even liked it more. Didn't get the injury breaks with either one of them. No. But again, just wanted to explain that. It's guys, we have the lines. When I tell you, literally down to the 10th of a point, that's how solid the lines are. It's just it's the injuries, it's some other things that to account. You'll see us bet a team like Charlotte, and then I got to hear all the guys crying, "Oh, Charlotte, they suck. They're the worst team." I know. When certain lines, if I bet a line at +5, we're just getting a note here. CJ McCollum is going to be a game time decision again. This is a game we gave out yesterday. If you guys know of a capper that's giving out games literally 36 hours before tip-off, let me know. I'm interested. There's nobody out there that does what I do. These are guys that watch lines, like I said, some guys that I'm listening to today. Who does Vegas need? Who's the public on? And this is how they're getting paid for their expert opinions. But anyway, we're making our decisions based on the line because we know what the line should be. That's why I can bet 36 hours ahead of time. That's why I can bet 6:30 a.m. Eastern, while guys, especially the guys out west, like it says, maybe they're still coming home from a strip club. I'm already making bets for that day.
Yep. For you guys who don't know, howtobeatthebookie.com, or download the app, How to Beat the Bookie. Make sure you guys check it out. You get all these game previews, like John mentions, even on days we don't have bets. John said earlier, we'll not be doing an episode later this week just because of the All-Star break. But beforehand, we touched it a little bit, John, just about the second half of the NBA season. So these are some lines up on DraftKings currently, if anyone wants to go check them out, just as far as win totals for the NBA season. So Obviously, they're pretty fine-tuned based off the deadline, everything else. I think this is a time we can maybe see a little bit of value. Like you mentioned, this is going to be that stretch now. Teams are going to start to go one direction or not. They're going to make the push, start to tank. So I'm just going to throw some numbers at you, throw some win totals, and we'll see maybe any spots that we see some probabilities maybe of where teams could go. One that I find pretty interesting off the bat here is Utah Jazz team. So obviously we mentioned the trade that they had. They're kind of starting to be sellers a little bit. Start of the year they came out hot and been playing a little bit worse lately. Their line on this right now, John, is 38.5. It is juiced to the over at -130. You can get even money +100 on under 38.5. And I think there's some decent value there on under 38.5. We'll see how they look going down the backstretch. I mean, they're really one injury away to one of the few basketball players. They have some nice young pieces, but I mean, between Markin and Clarkson, two guys who are the real basketball players, giving them actual scoring. One of those injuries, I don't see a chance to go over that 38.5, let alone just where they're trending after this trade here.
Okay, so 28-30, they're sitting right now. So they've got to get 12 wins to catch the over. So they need to go 12-12. Let's see. What do we got here? They've got more home games already, 30 home games against 28 on the road. I'd have to dive into the schedule a little bit. I'll tell you, the game tonight is going to be a huge game in that story. They've got a chance to steal one at Indiana. It's a pick 'em one game. That's the other bet that we made. I don't know if we talked about that. This was just strictly an injury game, guys. Indiana's been absolutely horrible. But like I said, I got the info that Halliburton is in. I jumped on this play. I just think Indiana at home worth the shot. If Utah could pull this one off, that's one step closer to that one. This number seems maybe a little high, like I said, because they've got more road games left and they've got to go 500. They're not a 500 team now. I think their team got worse. But again, I'd have to dive into game to game to see if the value is there.
Yeah, I definitely see a little bit of value there. But like you said, I understand what you're saying schedule-wise. And actually, after this whole stretch here they have coming out of the All-Star break is a little bit of a breeze. So maybe you guys could go play after. I mean, they get OKC, 2 games with San Antonio, and then 2 more games with OKC. And OKC's not necessarily a pushover anymore, but still.
Oh, absolutely not. Love the way OKC's playing. I'm on them tonight. This team's getting better and better.
Their line is also set at 38.5. When they're right 1 win below there on Utah, sitting at 27 wins. But they played, 2 less games, I believe it is. So played 2 less games than Utah. 1 win below them, also at 38.5. And I would lean over on that. Like you said, they're playing upward, they're trending upward, and I don't think they're tanking.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. Right now, they're sitting in the number 10 spot. Right now, OKC's in the 10 spot. Utah is in the 11 spot. I'm gonna yield on all of these guys for these next few games till the All-Star break. See how they go into the All-Star break. Can really make a better judgment then. OKC still loaded with picks, more picks to come. They've made a big improvement over last year. They've made a big improvement from the beginning of the year. Actually, going into tonight, I'm going to say 11-6, 12-4-1 against the spread their last 17 games. So, yeah, I would want to be on the team that's trending up.
Absolutely. Some of these Eastern Conference teams, another one that's been trending up. This one's a weird team for me to get a read on, the Orlando Magic. So a lot of injuries they've had this year. They've been playing great as of late, hanging in games, playing. I mean, as far as a betting aspect, too, that's a different thing. So looking at these win totals kind of alters how you think about teams a little bit, just because typically betting, you think about who covers, who keeps within the number. Obviously, you need the wins here, but their number right now is set at 32.5. With 23 wins under the belt right now. Have been playing better lately, but down the stretch of the season, are they going to turn in some of these guys? Or are they going to kind of sell a little bit more? So the way they got Patrick Beverley, it looks like they're going to buy him out. They're going to buy into this young core, let them do what they do. Trending a bit upwards, but I don't know if that's a team I get involved with. Hard to get a read on.
Yeah, I mean, look, they've had some nice runs. They've been off. I'm calling them the Giant Killers. In this last couple of weeks, they've knocked off Denver, Philly, Boston. These are 3 of your top teams in the NBA. I like the Orlando.
I was going to say, and a healthy Golden State twice this season.
Absolutely, and they should have beaten Miami the other night. We didn't get the money there. Just ironically, I'm getting the message that Cole Anthony is going to be out for them tonight. He'll also be questionable tomorrow for you guys, as we were talking about that Chicago Bull game for tomorrow. Fairly healthy, young squad. I don't see them tanking. I believe he'll coach them as a building experience. Can they get another 12 W's? It's going to be tough. So great news for us. CJ McCollum ruled out. Just got that info. So for our guys that hopefully you guys laid pick or even laid one with OKC, good spot for us for that game.
I'll give you two more Western Conference teams here, both at the same listed number. 44.5 is the number they have set on it. Sacramento and the Clippers. Sacramento 32 wins. LA's at 31. Obviously, I would lean a little bit to the under there for Sacramento, a little bit to the over with the Clippers. Clippers, as we mentioned, trending a bit upward. Now, like I said, the point guard situation does scare the shit out of me, but Kawhi Leonard has been playing better. And with Sacramento, didn't get too involved in the trade deadline, and they've been relatively healthy for the most part of the season. Definitely been playing above expectations for the majority of the season. Can they continue at this rate with those expectations? So both those lines sitting at 44.5. Don't know if you have any thoughts there on any reads.
Okay, so Clippers 31-28, so that's 59 games. So they've got 23 games left. What I would want to look at is how many back-to-backs. Kawhi's not going to play in back-to-backs this part of the year. Clippers would be one team. They'll rest guys. Rest will be more important for them going into the playoffs than being the 5th seed or the 4th. That's just the way I feel how he'll coach them down the stretch. So would hate to need them for that last W, and all your guys are on the bench.
Four back-to-backs, including the very last game of the season at Phoenix, is a back-to-back. So it could come down to that very last game.
But yep, like I said, if I dive into it a little bit more, again, the teams that you know are going to be sitting guys, now would be one of them. Sacramento, different. Their guys are playing. Looks like guys like Sabonis, when they're questionable, tend to play. He was questionable the other night, Saturday night. We got the info he was in, and we took Sacramento as a home dog and got the W that one. So Sacramento, it's more important for a team like them to have a top 4 finish where they'll get home court in that first round than it would be for a Clipper team. Would be more intent to go with the Sacramento team. Again, have to look at their schedule ahead of time. But yeah, be more inclined to go with a team like them. They know they need to get that home court.
And then this one is, John, I'm just going to send you some play-in props. So this is to make the play-in or to participate in the play-in. So this is just very specific to that. Obviously, Western Conference, you have currently in it Golden State, OKC, Minnesota, and New Orleans. We'll see if those 4 teams end up being the ones in that slot. Golden State's minus 135. I mean, I think they're going to climb eventually past that. Maybe they don't. But some teams there, you're getting the Pelicans at minus 120, who, like you mentioned, with Zion having some issues there. And, maybe we see them continue to drop off. They're in that 7 spot. And as far as plus money, Portland plus 115, Lakers even money if either of those teams were to climb up a couple of spots, which we could see with Utah dropping.
I really feel let's say that LeBron's going to come back. He's taking these 3 days off to get back to 100%, get the ankle right. I think Lakers come back and actually get into the playoff position, play-in position. Could jump into the playoff position with a good run, but I think they'll make the play-in position. So one of those 4 teams could get knocked out. Health. Zion already out. We just got the info. McCollum out. These guys go down. Ingram is as brittle as they make him. He's been playing great since he come these last few games anyway. But it's all about the health, guys. Golden State, Curry's out. We don't know how long yet. I think that might be a little while long. I don't think it's going to be right after the All-Star break. OKC Thunder, I think they're going to go for it. I think like it's just like the Magic, young team. I think that coach wants to give them a little bit of a taste, even if it's just in the play-in, a couple of games, just that postseason experience. So I think they're going to go. So Pelicans could be a dropout team. Minnesota, did they punt on the season, giving up Russell? Is Cat coming back? I haven't even heard anything about Cat. This is Carl Anthony Towns. He's the best ball player on the team. Is he going to sit out the rest of the year? Is he going to come back for the last week? So it all depends on that. If Cat doesn't come back, I think Minnesota will drop out. Hopefully they'll stay. They can lose tonight. Just stay within the 7.5. That's all I ask.
Yeah, we'll see how those 5 games, guys, go on this Monday. Obviously, we touched on a few of the Tuesday games coming up on the slate tomorrow. Tough to give you guys all the reads with so many back-to-backs. But, hey, if you guys are watching and you guys want to know more about this Tuesday slate, go sign up, howtobeatthebookie.com. 3 days until the All-Star break. Use promo code LAMBO. You will get the 3 free days up until then, and you guys can check out the service. And you'll get full breakdowns for all those games, whether or not there is a bet on those. John, I don't know if you have anything else you wanted to add here. Not going to be here for, I don't know, a week or so until after the All-Star break.
Going to take a week off, guys, but if you guys will see this tomorrow, Tuesday, get Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 3 days, got a 3-day free trial. Give us a look. Hey, maybe I don't even know what the hell I'm talking about. You cancel me after that, and you move on. Maybe I'm the best thing since sliced bread, and you become a member, and let's make some money.
Let's make some money, guys.